Do you get like friends being like, can I be in your video?
I put my brother in the band scene as
Cool.
well. He's the bass player, and the other two guitar players aren't even in my band. They're just my friends that I
That's awesome.
either had in my band before, Evan, who I write with. So I like to...
That's awesome, because you're hooking them up. You're showing them some love.
Yeah, and actually the clerk is like my sister-in-law.
So your whole family's in the video.
This is the first video where I really was like, okay, everybody needs to do a cameo just to make it
awesome.
fun.
I think that's really cool. The song Darlin' on the album, I actually heard that you wrote when you were like 14 or 15 years old. Why was it the right time now to put it out?
I finally just like gave myself the chance to record it. I actually tried to record it on my first record, but one of the producers kind of just was like, whatever. So with this album, like I took 2 years to make it, and I worked in my home studio. And like I wrote half this record by myself without any co-writers. Just took my time and allowed myself to go there finally. So I've always written songs on my own, just never used them. So it was kind of time for me to do that, and then I produced. So but it's like it's a perfect album. I experimented. I didn't have pressure. I took my time, and I was able to really just create.
On the production side, you mentioned you produced a couple of songs. How did that come about, and how did you know what to do?
Well, what was awesome was that I was in my home studio, and Derek from Sum 41, who produced 7 of the songs on the record, did that there, and I learned a lot from him. And I think just at this point, I've always worked so closely with all of my producers, because when I write a song, I have a vision for it, and I have to give it to a producer, so I sit there with them and go through players and sounds and instruments and stuff. So for me, the 2 songs I did on this album were pretty simple as far as the production went, and it happened. I didn't ever really know that I would produce or think I could. It just, at this point on my 4th album, naturally happened, really. So I was really excited about that.
It kind of goes with the whole like growing up and coming into your own theme as well. So I think that's great. Is it something you think you would want to do for other bands, or is it just interesting with your own stuff because you know what you're looking for?
I think with myself and writing my songs and it being me, I was like able to like kind of experiment and take my time. So maybe one day, but definitely for now, me.
I got you. So you mentioned before that for your live show, you're gearing up, you're getting ready, and you're going to kind of change it up and for that more personal vibe, for that more intimate vibe of this album. How else are you going to change up your live performance to match the vibe of this record?
This will be the first tour that kind of has that more theater, intimate kind of singer-songwriter vibe to it, I guess, with like moments where it's just me on the piano and just me on the acoustic guitar and a lot of that stuff, and I have maybe the band doing different percussion, just kind of like a like a unplugged sort of vibe and acoustic. And then like I had said before, I think it's just really important, like if I want to go there and that's something new, haven't really done too much of that, I think it's really important to always make sure that I play all my older songs and rock out with them. So I think the show will be very diverse in that sense, but it's also nice because it takes you on a bit of a ride.
Sure.
Less production, just about me and the band, really.
Well, it'll be cool for the fans because it's like that much closer to you, and I think they'd really enjoy that. When you finished the record, you did a few songs with producer Alex the Kid, who worked with Rihanna and Eminem on Love the Way You Lie, B.O.B. What are those songs like, and are we ever going to get to hear them?
I had fun. My record was done, and I was kind of like going through some stuff with the record company, and they wouldn't let me put it out quite then. And so on my time off, I was just sitting around LA. I was like, well, you know, I'm going to keep writing and working. So I had some fun with Alex in the studio, and we wrote a bunch of cool, fun stuff, upbeat stuff, and a couple slower songs. So there's a couple that I really like that I'm pretty positive will go on the new record in a few years, in a couple years.
The next new record.
Yes, not this one, yeah.
And, you know, as a final question, what do you think is a CD that everyone must own? If you can't consolidate to one, I'll give you 2.
I mean, of course, Nirvana. And then, but my favorite stuff is kind of like the stuff I heard growing up, which is like Beach Boys and the Beatles, stuff like that.
That's kind of, you have to know the Beatles to. And what are some, what's like a new thing that's out there that you're crazy about?
Man, I'm trying to think right now.
You're like, I work too much, I have no time.
New stuff that's out there right now. I'm trying to think.
Or stuff that you're listening to on the radio that you're really digging.
Something. I mean, I listen to top 40 music, radio stuff, and I kind of hang out with my friends and dance around with that stuff. But I'm really into like listening to like Radiohead and jazz music and stuff like that. And I think because I'm around music so much, I kind of like mellow music.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Well, I do. I mean, I go to metal shows a lot, and then when I'm at home, I definitely tend to listen to like things like Portishead or Massive Attack, because it's just totally mellow. Well, Avril, thank you so much for being on our top 20. It was a total pleasure.